What's good, fellas? My name's Andy, and I've got an interesting video for you today. You know, for those who've watched Shaq on Inside the NBA and Open Court over the years, you've heard that he never really says anything positive about Steve Nash. Every time Nash's name gets brought up, Shaq gets super defensive and says how he robbed him of 2 of his MVPs or something, which, I don't think that's the case. There were other times where Shaq would basically call him a system player and only benefited from playing in the Suns system, and he'd always take shots at him pretty much. It seems kinda weird considering that they used to be teammates in Phoenix, and back then, Shaq never said anything about Nash not deserving those MVPs or anything. But believe it or not, this is not the real reason why Shaq has beef with Nash. There was something that happened back in 2008 and 2009 which was way more complicated. I don't know how many people remember this, but back in 2009, Shaq starred in a new television show called Shaq vs., which aired on ABC. In this show, Shaq basically goes around and challenges other top athletes at their own sport and tries to beat them, with a handicap. For example, he challenged Michael Phelps to a race, but he only had to swim half the distance that Phelps was swimming. Shaq vs. would air for 2 seasons, but that was it. It ended in 2010. Now, here's the controversial part. Apparently, Steve Nash was an executive producer for the show, but why? Why was he an executive producer? Well, according to Nash, when Shaq first got traded to Phoenix in 2008, they talked for a long time. During this conversation, Nash mentioned that he wanted to pursue a new reality TV series where he would travel around the world and challenge professional athletes at their own sports. Does that sound familiar? Yeah, that sounds exactly like Shaq vs., the show that starred Shaq, not Nash. According to a Suns representative who overheard a conversation between them, this is what happened. In the beginning of the 2008 to 2009 season, Shaq walked into the team bus and told everyone that he would be starring in a new reality TV show where he would take on professional athletes at their own sport. Then Nash responded by saying, "You mean the idea you stole from me?" Yeah, you guys see what happened here, right? It's pretty obvious that Nash believed that Shaq stole his idea and ran with it. Afterwards, Nash went to a lawyer to talk about what happened, which is why he was given the role of executive producer for Shaq vs. In a public interview, Nash was pretty cordial about it. He said, quote, "We collaborated on parts of the show. I support him 100%. I thought the first episode was a fantastic episode and I can't wait for the next one." However, according to another source, they said that Nash was pissed off and he could not believe Shaq's lack of integrity. This incident came up in the news and Shaq responded with a great PR response. He has made great contributions as an executive producer on Shaq vs. and we are all excited about the show. In addition to this whole thing between Nash and Shaq, Todd Gallagher, who is the author of the book Andy Roddick Beat Me with a Frying Pan, also claimed that Shaq stole parts of his idea as well. Gallagher said Shaq approached him a while ago to turn his book into a TV show, but instead, Shaq just took his idea and created Shaq vs. And he did not give him any credit either. Yeah, this whole thing was a huge mess. But as I mentioned earlier, the show did not last long anyway, and it got cancelled 1 year later. And yeah, that pretty much sums up the story. Keep in mind, this conversation between him and Nash happened around the beginning of the 2008 to 9 season. And coincidentally enough, that season was a disaster. Well, I guess that's kind of an exaggeration. The Suns finished with a 46-36 record, which wasn't bad at all, but they missed the playoffs for the first time in 5 seasons. And then over the summer, Shaq got traded to the Cavs. The team also had a couple of coaching changes, and overall, the chemistry was just not there. It is definitely possible that this incident between Nash and Shaq was a major reason for the tension surrounding the team, but both of them tried to brush it to the side. Over the years, Shaq's resentment towards Nash is still very clear. I guess he was mad that the report released back then hurt his image a little bit. It's kinda funny though how Shaq has had beef with almost every star player he's ever played with. But time heals everything, and hopefully their relationship will get better in the future. Thanks for watching everyone, I hope y'all enjoyed that video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time. Peace.